Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Um, Today I'm going to be talking about openSUSE and why I'm looking at it and why I'm playing with it right now. As you can tell, it's running i3 gaps, and I've ported over a lot of my the i3 blocks that I run on Arch as well. Some of them ported in greatly. Some of them are going to require some tweaking here and there. As you can tell, the kernel, some of these scripts work cross distro. However, certain aren't going to work because they're designed for a Pac-Man system, and openSUSE doesn't run Pac-Man. It runs Zipper instead of as a package manager. And I'll discuss some of those things that have gone up. And the reason I'm looking at openSUSE, Tumbleweed in particular, is because we all have our favorite distributions for different reasons. I love Arch because it's rolling, because of software availability, certain things, but we all need to ask ourselves this question: what if our favorite distribution were to disappear tomorrow, or they do something that you find unforgivable? Well, we all need a backup plan, right? And I'm not saying that Arch has done that or will do that. I don't see it happening in the foreseeable future, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it can't happen or that it won't happen. I think we all need to accept that. And so I think it's fair that for everybody should have like a backup plan. And so for me, openSUSE Tumbleweed is my backup plan. And I'm looking to see how close I can get openSUSE's workflow to the way that I would run on my Arch system over here. And so that means getting i3 installed, and trying to get everything as close as I can to the way I would run it on Arch. Now, obviously, there's been a few hiccups here and there, which I'm not blaming the openSUSE team. I'm not blaming SUSE for this. Obviously, I'm doing odd things with this that it maybe wasn't designed for. So, and if I have to default back to a full desktop environment, I will. But for now, I think it would be a lot more interesting if I could find out how close I can get it to the way that I ran Arch. So what am I doing with this thing? I'll pull up a terminal here. I think that between rolling release, software availability, and a stable foundation, I think that openSUSE Tumbleweed is the closest thing to Arch in that respect, without it being, completely Arch or Arch based. The reason I say this is that Arch is community driven and has a large community, which means that it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I'm not going to run a distribution that has only one maintainer. Sorry, I've done that before. I've gotten burned. It's just not going to happen. It's got to have a rock solid a rock solid backing behind it, and openSUSE has that with a corporate backing and a very strong community as well. And so openSUSE is not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, as for software availability, there's some things that I might have to hunt for on GitHub and compile from source. However, those things are few and far between. And as far as software availability, out of the box, available through the package manager goes, there are some things that I have to hunt for in the AUR that are available in, let's say, the Pacman repository or in another easy way. Not everything, which is keeping me on Arch, but some things as well. Some things are. Now, what have I been able to get working? And what haven't I been able to get working? Well, there's a few i3 blocks that I've been having trouble with. And they're for obvious reasons that we're going to get into here. As you can tell, here's the folder with a lot of the i3 blocks, most of which I have borrowed from Luke Smith. By the way, he's very useful channel if you're getting into i3. Very worth checking out. As you can tell here, the script here for i3 Pacman. As you can tell, the kernel, news boat here, weather, yada yada yada. There are a few things that are working fine because they're cross-platform. These are or cross-distro. These are commands that will work on any distribution. However, openSUSE does not use Pacman, so there we're going to have an issue. And I'm going to open up another terminal here to show my progress on this, because I haven't made a lot. I haven't had a lot of time, but I'll get this one into downloads. i3 blocks as well. And I'm going to show you the issue here. Okay, I'm going to open up i3 Pacman on this one. And as you can tell, one of the major issues here is that openSUSE does not use Pacman, or Yay, or anything like that. openSUSE uses a package manager called Zipper. And so I am doing my best here to translate the Pacman commands into Zipper commands. How is that going? Not great. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I've been running into some issues with this one. Okay, one of the main issues that I've been running into with this one is when you run a command with Pacman to query the number of updates. Okay, as you can tell here in the script, it's running, I'm not a coder, so I don't understand everything that's going on here. Okay, but I understand this command here. It's Pacman QU, word count, SCD, and it's removing a bunch of stuff here, pushing it here, and running that. So, what is that doing? Well, that's querying the number of updates. It's piping it through WC, which stands for word count, and it's counting the number of lines. So word count, what that does is if you check out word count help, it counts the number of characters, bytes, lines, whatever in a file. Okay, and that comes in handy here because when you run Pacman -QU, it's going to give you a list of available updates. And you pipe that through word count, and it's just going to count the number of lines that it spit out, and it gives you an accurate number of updates. However, Zipper does have a query option, Matter of fact, I have to look it up again. Not very used to zipper. Let's find out. Okay, LU. So we go zipper LU. I might have to do that as root. As you can tell, it's not really as fast as Pac-Man, but it's there. So, as you can tell, I have a whole host of updates here. And I'm going to leave it like that while I test things out. And the reason that I'm leaving it like that is because you see what's going on here? It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines that aren't updates, that are just giving information. So if I were to, let's say, run the same command, see, Pac-Man doesn't do that. It just spits out a list, line by line. It doesn't give you like an intro or anything like that. It's just line by line. There's nothing extra. So if you do a word count from a Pac-Man querying command, you get an accurate number of updates. However, with zipper, it's going to give you 4. If I were to do the same thing, pipe it through word count, tag L. Let's see what this gives me. It's going to give me 324. I got 324 updates, right? Well, not exactly. I actually only have 320 because, as you know, it didn't count the number of updates, it counted the number of lines that would have outputted. And so if you have 0 updates, it's going to say you have 4. If you have, and so that's going to be an issue when porting over the i3 Pac-Man. I'm trying to figure out a way to maybe mitigate that. Like perhaps I can -4. Can I do that? Nope. I didn't think so. I was reaching. Like I said, I'm not a programmer or anything like that, so like I'm just kind of shooting in the dark with this thing. And I mean, one solution I suppose would be to have it -4 from whatever number it spits out, and it'll give you an accurate number. The other option I could assume would be to somehow have zipper cut those first few lines out of its output. I don't know how to do that either, so for now I'm just gonna like skip that i3 block for now. And so like other than that, it's been pretty close to what I can do in Arch. What's another thing that I was gonna look into? Oh yeah. Okay, for this we're gonna have to go into root. But as you know, I like to try to keep things in the terminal as much as I can when I'm running i3, and especially. And openSUSE is known for its YAS tool. And everyone knows that YAS is this GUI tool that people can use. However, did you know, and I learned this not too long ago, that YAS actually has a console-based interface as well. Pretty neat, huh? And you can run software management. This is it's things like this that make it very tempting to switch to openSUSE. Okay, this is something that would tempt me to switch. Because it's a nifty little tool. And I do like Yast, and I wish that other distributions would have something like this. Not that I need it or anything, but it is neat to have. And I'm wondering if something like this can be incorporated to an i3 block to run an update or something. Like, this might be another option, but I have no idea where to start with that one. But it actually is pretty simple. You can just run a search command for whatever it is you're looking. Run a search for whatever it is you're looking for. Let's say you want to filter it. You hit Alt F. It's going to open up that. It's going to say you want to search repositories, patterns. I'm just going to run a search for, let's say, fish. Let's see if we have the fish, which is the friendly interactive shell. Just go down here, find the package that you're looking for, and I believe it's the space bar to add it to the list of things to install. And so we go down here to, and you see the letters that are in red here. You're gonna have them as a different color. I believe it was when I first used this, the background was a bright blue, which was yuck. Not good for me. My eyes do not like light themes, so I changed the color, and I'll show you how to do that too. But you see the letters that are in red? That means if you hit Alt and the letter, it will activate that action. Okay, so it's going to say that it's got to take that as a dependency or whatever. We just hit Alt O for OK. Or you can tab through it too, but hitting the Alt and then the letter is a little bit shorter. A little bit easier. So it's finished. Installed 3 packages, fish, YouTube. I might not use fish on this one. Fish, once you get it set up, is pretty easy to use. However, the issue that I run into with fish is that, like, is very much a pain to get set up. And some bash things don't really work in fish, and so I think ZSH is just fine for me. It does a lot of the things that fish does without, issues. So I hit Alt F for finish. Obviously you can go to online update, and we'll see what this does. And so I have to say with this little tool here that openSUSE is a distro after my own heart. However, Arch is still my main thing because at this point it's what I'm used to. Just gonna get out of that. I don't think that openSUSE was very much built to run i3. Like, I'm sure it can just fine, but it seems like this isn't what the developers had in mind. That being said, this is the beauty of Linux, is you can transform anything into anything pretty much. If I were to run openSUSE, I'd probably have to change my workflow a bit to fit a full desktop environment. I'd probably go with the KDE version because for the longest time KDE was openSUSE's flagship I mean, I guess technically they don't have a flagship anymore, but I find the KDE implementation to be one of the best KDE implementations out there. And I'm not a big KDE fan, so it takes a lot for me to say that. But yeah, let me know what you think. This is kind of a sloppy video. I admit that, kind of messy. But I've been getting questions on like, hey, what are you up to with openSUSE? So this is it. As you can tell, I have the Ranger file manager running. That's the other thing. I've noticed a bit of a delay, more so when I try to launch apps with keyboard shortcuts or whatnot in openSUSE versus Arch. It's not a big deal, but it's there, and so yeah. I'll be sure to update you guys on my progress here. I'm gonna continue to maybe hack away at this just to see how far I can get with it. It's just like a side project, really. I'm still running Arch as on my main rig. I'm not a distro hopper. I refuse to hop. You want me to change distros? Arch has to do something like really bad. And so with that being said, I think I'm gonna end the video here. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask in the comment section. And I might do a live stream maybe a little bit later. Maybe talk about this a little bit more in detail. But yeah, I'm still learning like the ins and outs of Zipper. Still learning like the openSUSE community. I'm still learning like, you know, I might give this a shot, like run it as in KDE, you know, the way the developers intended it. You know, obviously that's not the only way they intended it. You can run GNOME or XFCE, I think was in the installation guide too. But yeah, that's been my experience so far with openSUSE. That's been an interesting trip. So if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to comment in the comment on the video. I will link to openSUSE's website if you're interested in trying out openSUSE. And thank you, and have a great rest of the day. Bye bye.